And I quickly went home and took a shower, and everything was fine after that. And the very next day, while it was still puffy, it had stopped bleeding by that time, I went down and put my stuff on the street, 5 balls here, juggling, clubs here, Diablo here, unicycle at the end, and just made it up as I went along. If you think this is hard, you should have seen what it was like when my sister tied me to my motorcycle in my garage and she wouldn't let me out. I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't, and it's like, this is, anything I could think of. But somebody started yelling at me and I started yelling back, and the Butterfly Man was born that day. After 6 shows, it was set in stone, dealing with that, the butterfly there. I mean, I didn't name him that. I called myself Nearly Normal Robert after that. Yeah, when I first got to San Francisco, I was Nearly Normal Robert. Out of Tom Robbins' book, which Nearly Normal Jimmy was one of the characters, and I thought that was a really good name. So that, and then one day at the Cannery, which you performed at, this little kid went by. I used to balance the rose on my nose, if you remember, and say that little poem, and and this little kid goes by, Mommy, let's stop and see the Butterfly Man. And I went, is that the name I'm gonna have to have? I guess so. And so that was it. So I didn't really choose the name, the kid did, but as soon as he said it, I kind of went, yeah, that's what it's gotta be, because it's so simplistic and unforgettable. And I became the Butterfly Man. And I never made a reference to it, if you remember, during any show I ever did.
I mean, you never called yourself the Butterfly Man.
Well, no, I would say that at the end. I did.
Oh, yeah,
My business card, I am the Butterfly Man. I thank you for your kind attention. I adopted it because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, what did I do? I came into the world of busking as a totally unique looking individual. No way you could mistake me for Ray Jason, the other juggler, the blonde-haired juggler. You could take 10 people and tell them that. But there soon was to be a proliferation of jugglers on the scene, and I was never mistaken for anyone else. They were always oh, have you seen the Butterfly Man? And they go, what? What's the Butterfly Man? Because it sounded so ethereal and sweet. Right? And I even got gigs that people didn't know. For one for a Christian school, I remember, showing up and the Butterfly Man is here today. And then I come up and I start my act, and within 5 minutes, that'll be enough. Thank you. And we don't really want you here. But the kids were enjoying themselves. But I mean, it stuck, literally. And it was the perfect thing to do to get yourself noticed, talked about, and never forgotten.